Hello, Dirt Beauties. This is Marcos, and this is our week 15 to 16 video briefing. We are coming up on the last week of our class, and it's a very important week. It's our final review session, and we've got lots to do to get ready for it. And I want to make sure that each of you are prepared and aware of what's needed so that you can get things completed properly and at its best, and that most importantly, that you have the greatest experience possible here as we get together at my office on Thursday night to do a final review session and meet with several guest judges who will be looking at your work and listening to your stories about how you designed your different pieces. So it's going to be an exciting time, and it's going to be super important that each of you have everything correctly put together, and that you spend the time needed to finalize your design project and make a great presentation. So we're going to go over that to make sure we're clear about what's needed. And yeah, it's that time. It's that time of year right now, and maybe you're cool and collected like Sunglasses Man. Maybe you're a little bit nervous. Maybe you're starry-eyed and ready to go. Hopefully you're not freaking out or nervously in pain. But you can get it. You can do this. You can get ready in time. And just what to know is basically two parts that we have to do. First, we have to complete our third project, our audio-visual storybooks. And our last class was a little bit hectic. We had to get a switch of a room at the last minute. And but many of you were there, not all of you. I missed some of you, and I want to hear from those of you who were there who I haven't heard from yet. Um, and we did a review of mostly finished. Some people were still admittedly in progress, and that's okay. But mostly finished. But everyone had a little bit of like tweaking to do. But basically, now is the time to complete that audiovisual book and to follow up on the feedback you got, and to refine it. And also, it doesn't even have to be the feedback. It could also be your own critical eye, your own ability to review something, to judge it, to deem the parts that need to be improved, to have moments of enlightenment where you're like, though, I think I want to try to do this. Little details can make it better now. And you're so close to getting it finished. And if you can just add more to it to bump it up even higher, then it's going to be a great result. Again, the initial idea that it can be basic and simple is still there, but I do want to have that safe space, so to speak, while also encouraging you to push and go beyond what you think you can do for yourself and make something really great. So really the end result should be that you should create a final MP4 at 1080 by 1920. Now, more than several of you, more than I was expecting, didn't quite have the size down right and made these wider, squarer kind of shapes. And that's not okay for the final. It needs to be 1080 by 1920. So it is the size of a vertical phone. If that's what it is, it's going on an app. And also you can create that just a basic MP4 that has the sound and has your movie. And then from there, take that MP4 and create a prototype that's in a phone shape, like it's in an image of a phone. So you see the phone, and it also has the dashboard that comes up and goes down automatically, and then comes up and goes down at the end. And when you're doing your sound, remember, many of you did remember this, so I was happy to hear this. Remember that you start off your story with Dirt Read presents the name of your story, the author, and then if applicable, who is doing the narrating, or if you want to say illustrated by, or whatever the credits are. And then you read through the book, and then at the end, you repeat the exact same thing. Dirt Read presents, name of the book, name of the author, credit to the illustrator, credit to the narrator, and that's how it ends. So remember to do that, both sides on your prototype. Some of you have trouble with Figma and getting that dashboard. You don't have to do it in Figma. Maybe you can copy the asset and do it in whatever program that works for you, or even remake it if you want. But in the final, I want you to have on your screen what looks to be a phone that's playing in the same way that it would be experienced by somebody, by a kid looking at it on their phone at the moment instead of just the raw MP4. Okay, and then I want you to for the part 4 final files project, there's a Google Drive folder put up, And I want to have that MP4 that doesn't have the dashboard or the phone mock-up. That's just your final presentation of your story, and then also include the mock-up as well. And then most importantly, or not most importantly, but also importantly, is I want your raw files, like collect your raw files, your sound, your GIFs, your illustrations, all the parts that you needed to make this, so that in the future when we're working on producing the app, and if we're going to use your story, and we will contact you if this happens, we have what we need to make alterations or update it or revise it. And it would be good to have that. So please include that, and I'll show you an example of that. Okay, so part 4 of files uploaded, all source files. In Canvas, I created a part 4 final files, AV book final files. And you can see here is an example of what I mean by your source files. You have image files, audio files, After Effects, and Figma GIFs and Figma files, template, the Dirt Read templates, the Dirt Audio Visual Storybook, that looks like the mock-up, and then the MP4. So it should be something like that that has all your files, final and source, together in your final files folder. All right, so then we'll move on from there. You'll have your audiovisual book completed. There'll be 3 projects. And also, if you need help, if you want feedback from me, please reach out. I'm happy to give it at any time to make sure you have it perfect. And then there you see the part 4 final files folder on the Google Drive. All right, and now we move on to getting prepared for the final review session. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a final review class session at my office here at TOTA. It'll be in person. It was going to be at a Zoom station as well, but my friend in Portland had to cancel or postpone, and she can't make it. So we'll probably just have in-person sessions. We'll have 5 stations. And basically, this is a little bit of this is completely a review or a documentation of how last year's went. And last year we were in my office space where we had the photo shoot room, which is the conference room, turned into a review session room with 4 different stations, with various judges, from design professionals to former students to a mom to some kids. And also we're going to have Demi there, and we may set up a station in my actual office for Demi to review there. So there'll be 5 places you go to, and basically it's going to be like speed dating, where you rotate around and meet at the different tables as they open up. And I ask that each of you, and I'll try to direct this and get people to hurry up if they're taking too long, but I ask you to be aware of other people, and if you've gone twice and somebody hasn't gone at all, let people go before you. There'll be plenty of time to meet, I think, with most everybody. And also, the key is also going to be to really optimize your presentation so that you're being totally thorough and you're not rushing through it, and you are telling the story of your process and how you came up with the narrative in your book, how you may have adapted it, or how you wrote it or authored it, the design inspiration you used. And this is quick stuff, but it's important to have in their designs, but the kind of typography, inspiration, the color, and then the preliminary work that you did to develop it, and then the final piece showcasing each spread of your books in the piece, while also having your book in hand so that you're sharing with them, as you see here, they're looking through it while you're talking through it. And we will have our both your board book and your storybook there. And I have an extra copy in case you to bring yours, but I ask that you bring your storybook, or you can use the extra copy I have for your review, but then give it back since you already have yours. And I also have the extra copies that some of you ordered, and I've got fresh off the press. Wait, hold on. I'll do it at the end. I'll show you guys. We've got the storybooks have arrived, and they are looking fantastic. You'll be excited to see your books printed. Okay, so let's go through the checklist here. Basically, you're going to present all 3 projects, and I want you to use Google Slides, because number one, if you use a PDF, you need to be able to play your audiovisual book, and I don't want you switching from one thing to another. And also, I'm concerned that my computers, some of them are older than others, and I don't know if I have PowerPoint on all of them or to log into that. So let's avoid PowerPoint unless you can play it online. I think is it Canva, whatever, anything that you can play online that doesn't involve downloading a specific or logging into a specific app, and also that can play your storybook, your audiovisual storybook. That's going to be important too. So Google Slides does that. So I'm going to say use Google Slides. And then you're going to take each of your presentations that you've already done, curate them down so that they're more streamlined. And I'll show you 3 examples of that coming up here. You're going to showcase your research and your strategy and your concept. You're going to showcase your design inspiration, your design process, and then fully show your cover spreads and back. And then do the same with the audiovisual book, where you'll show the process, and then you'll play it there. Some of you, if your audiovisual book is really long, and you might want to just show parts of it, kind of pick out the places, like show the first 10 seconds and then skip to second minute number 1 or whatever, and not have to sit through the whole thing. Maybe read the audience if they're getting the sense of what it is without having to go through the whole thing, then do that. Of course, if you want to play the whole thing because you're proud of it, of course, do that. But that might take a lot of time. So just keep in mind, you might want to switch the approach depending on how it's going with who you're talking to. Okay, so let's see here. I'm getting lost. So I've posted the assignment on Canvas as well, on Canvas, yeah, not Canva, Canvas as well. And there's links to where you should upload your final presentation on Google Drive. And there's also links to where you can find, there's a final presentation. The folder's called Final Presentation. So make sure you put your folder there. And don't mix that up with the audiovisual part 4. That's a different thing. This is just for your final Google Slides deck goes here. And then also there's a link to class resources that will take you to a folder called Final Presentation Deck Examples. And in that folder down here are 5 different past decks of how students set up their presentations that give you a reference, and we can go through them right now, right quick. So this is one based on Ivy, who we've been looking at her work as a lot of times you've used her for the example. Make sure you put in this thing about dirt. You don't have to talk about it in your review session, but have it there. And then here she sets up like a title page for each one. So project 1 is her Yummy Travels Baby Board Book. She talks about what the assignment is, and then her design concept, and then showcases her inspiration, shows her storyboard, and then showcases each of her spreads in one place. And she does that because she has the book in the hands of the person, and she chose not to put every single spread there. Oh, she did put it here. Sorry, here they go. So she starts it with an overview, and then she goes and just shows every single one big. And you can go through these quickly, obviously, and then repeats it again, the overview again. Did I get that right? Oh, no, this is design. Okay, sorry. This is the design process. So this just shows her work in progress, typography choices, and difference in colors, and just this is sort of like her initial direction. And then it goes through every single one, sorry. And then it shows her storyboard. I mean, not storyboard, her overview of every single spread in the cover. And then she goes to project 2, her handful of clay book, talks about the assignment, what the story is about, her design inspiration, her storyboard, her preliminary design process, and then goes through every spread. And again, you should be having the book in their hands at this point and showcases everything at once. And then an audiovisual book is part 3. And it goes through the same process of explaining what it is, showing the overview, and then playing a prototype, which is stretched here. Something's wrong with it. Oh, Okay, so it goes somewhere else. That's kind of weird.
Dirt Reads presents
And then it
a
plays.
handful of clay.
I don't know why it didn't just play on this page, but that's what it should do. But there's another example for you. And then here's another example that I showed in class. And this person here, she's actually going to be there as one of the judges, but she has a table of contents. And then she starts with her baby board book, and this is the right order. And she made a mock-up of all her pieces, which is a nice idea to kind of give it more life. She goes through the concept, the visual inspiration, the type inspiration, the storyboards, and then each page of her book, an overview, and repeats it with the storybook, another mock-up. Doesn't have to be all supernatural like that, but why not if you want to? And goes through the same process of showcasing those pieces, each spread nice and big on a clean white background. And then the overview. And then she features a mock-up image of her audiovisual storybook, and then talks about the story itself, shows the storyboard, and then can play it right on her presentation.
A day of adventure.
Okay, and then this is the best part. She then, after that, at the end, she has the thank you page, and then she goes back to an image of each of her pieces in one place. So I think this is a really good way to stop your presentation, have the books in their hand, and have a conversation about what they liked. And this way they can see all three at once. Or you can page through and have them look at the overview pages or even a specific spread if they want to see that. All right, and then the final one is another version from another student. And this person chose to kind of give a preview of each piece without giving away the ending, without having a spoiler alert, without showing the design. So she just shows each of the books, not each of the pieces, each of the formats, and then talks about dirt. Maybe this is in the wrong order, but okay. And she starts off with the title of her first board book, and again, the just the blank mock-up, and then it goes through the same thing, talks about the assignment, talks about the concept, shows her inspiration, shows her incredible thumbnails, our storyboard images, and then that's pretty cool, right? Look at that. And then goes into the final drawings. That is amazing. And then at the same time having the book in their hands and then going through each one. Oh, she doesn't go through each one in a big way. This is the one I was confused with. But she does show some images of some of the spreads shot by herself like that. Then repeats the same idea with her storybook, talks about the story and the background of it, talks about the concept, shows design inspiration, shows her sketches and her preliminary layouts, and then it goes into her book and showcases her cover, and then that's just, oh no, here we go, and then shows everything at once. She has such a huge book. I think she chose not to just show every single spread because it's just so much of it. Again, the book is in their hands. So she opted not to show all the spreads. And I think even though I'm saying show all the spreads, I think that's perfectly fine if you don't show all the spreads, if there's a reason for it, like this, where it's such a big book that it was too much to do. And then she shows her audiovisual book, same process, talks about the history of the story, her design concept, her illustration inspiration, her sketching. And then she has a nice mock-up that uses a different color background that then just plays right on her that plays right on her presentation. Oh, it doesn't. What happened? Something's so weird. Or it plays here.
Stone Soup, European Folk Story, illustrated by Xinyi Zhao.
Okay. And you can see that, you can see the whole thing if you want in the class resources folder under past final presentation reviews. Okay, so that's it. So time to bear down. We're gonna come to TOTA as soon as possible, as close to 7 p.m. as you can. Obviously, you have a class before and you got to travel here. No big deal. But I just want to get at least 5 people here by 7 p.m. That would be great. So if you can come by 7 p.m., you'll get first dibs on a judge. And then we will have treats and snacks, and I'll be taking just in more informal pictures. of you with your books, and the idea is to share your work as in the traditional final review, but also to have a celebration and for us to come together one last time as a class and to really reflect back on the experiences we had together over these past months, and to look at the work that you've done together, and to be like super proud of what it is that you're showcasing, and and how you've gone through this process in such a committed way, and to then be able to to show that you have got a completed work as not just one but two different pieces that you've made as a children's illustrator, working in collaboration with Dirt to create these just great, incredible pieces that I'm so proud of that you guys have done so well at. And I'm just looking forward to getting these in your hands and having you be able to share them with people, and then for you to be able to have them as something that you can show off in your portfolio as part of your abilities in your toolkit, but also it's something you can keep and have and be part of your life, and maybe someday even share them with your own children, and be able to look back and see that you're all the work that you're doing as a designer, all the illustrations you've done, from being a child to now, can come together in just this kind of like great sort of ability to show who you are as a designer or as an artist, and to bring it together in such a cool way that you've done here. So looking forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. But in the meantime, if you need to get a hold of me to get feedback, please don't be shy, reach out and we can talk more. So I'll see you on Thursday at 7 at Toda, and I'll send an email with the address information as needed. Okay, guys, thanks so much.